Please help me change the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship, and what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare, and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
It's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers.
Welcome, everyone, to the Green Nurse podcast, where we bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing. We're here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good or be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. You deserve to feel good. We all deserve to feel good. My name is Nurse Sherri Mack. I'm the Chief Nursing Officer and co-founder of Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse, and Vice President of Nursing at Bloom Hemp CBD. I am a cannabis nurse, cannabis patient, advocate and activist, and very passionate podcaster, here to change the paradigm of healthcare with plant medicines. I started podcasting in 2018 when the National Council State Boards of Nursing came out with their guidelines that all nurses must have 6 essential areas of knowledge when it comes to cannabis as medicine. I started podcasting to share compelling stories of healing to decrease stigma, since I too use cannabis as a medicine. I'm not sure if you're all aware of this, but cannabis nursing has been recognized as a specialty, and nurses are truly making an impact on advocating for the safe therapeutic use of cannabis by teaching on the endocannabinoid system and how to optimize cannabis as medicine for health, healing, and wellness purposes. As plant medicine nurses, our role extends beyond recommending cannabis and hemp products. We strive to provide alternative solutions from multiple modalities that support the endocannabinoid system, promoting health, healing, and overall wellness. I'm very, very excited for today's guest. I was on her podcast. I'm very excited to share her work. Delighted to welcome Christine Olson. She is a devoted cannabis patient, advocate, and passionate believer in the transformative power of plant medicine. Her personal healing journey has become a guiding force, inspiring her to educate and empower others along their own paths to wellness. Christine is the founder of Divine Readings by Christine and the host of Divine Podcasts, which I have been honored to be on her show before, where she curates meaningful conversations at the crossroads of spirituality, holistic wellness, personal growth, and the human experience. Through thoughtful interviews with experts, advocates, and change makers, she creates a platform rooted in education, inspiration, and authentic storytelling. She's an intuitive tarot reader, oracle reader, spiritual mentor, and certified beyond quantum healing. That's BQH practitioner. Christine draws on tarot, oracle guidance, intuitive coaching, and energy work to help individuals reconnect with their inner wisdom, navigating life's transitions, and embracing personal transformation. Her commitment to wellness is deeply personal. Born with epilepsy, Christine endured hundreds of seizures before finally finding freedom through a holistic combination of lifestyle changes, nutrition, stress management, spiritual practices, and medical cannabis. This profound experience ignited a lifelong dedication to epilepsy awareness, patient advocacy, and dismantling the stigma surrounding alternative healing approaches. Professionally, Christine serves as assistant center director at a math tutoring center where she helps students build confidence, sharpen problem-solving skills, and develop a healthy relationship with learning. Her work in education reflects a core belief that growth, academic, personal, or spiritual growth, flourishes through encouragement, curiosity, and compassionate support. Through divine readings by Christine and divine podcasts, she bridges the worlds of spirituality, science, education, and wellness, fostering conversations that empower others to make informed choices, trust their intuition, and to live authentically. Whether she's hosting a podcast, reading the tarot, mentoring clients, supporting students, or championing epilepsy awareness, Christine's mission remains steadfast: to educate, inspire, and empower others to discover their own path to healing, growth, and transformation. Welcome to the show, Christine. Before I let you speak, I'm just going to tell people up front really quickly, this is going to be a two-part podcast. This first part of the podcast, I'm going to be interviewing Christine. She's going to share her compelling story of healing. I've got a host of wonderful questions for her. And then the second part of the podcast, what we're going to do is have a live divine reading demonstration. And we'll go over that in a few minutes. So, gosh, Christine, I'm just so happy to have you here. Don't wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to podcast about cannabis. I'm going to share my journey with cannabis. I'm going to go into spiritual practices. There's generally a compelling story or a journey that brought you to where you are today. And so I would love to be able for you to share that with our viewers.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey, and thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, and along the way, a lot of trials and things that have happened that I've learned through and that have brought me here to where I'm at. Coming from having epilepsy and not being able to function, I'd say, at a comfortable level, to even be able to leave the house at points of my life, to now be able to be seizure free and to be able to be on here with you is amazing. So yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
Wow. It's, and I don't think people really realize or truly understand what chronic debilitating illness looks like. You've lived with epilepsy since birth, yet your formal diagnosis didn't come until much later in life. Can you walk us through that journey and share how finally receiving a diagnosis changed things for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey for me. Living with epilepsy without that diagnosis has been life-changing. I did not even know I had epilepsy when I was diagnosed with it. I was not educated on even what that was or what it meant. The uncertainty was the debilitating part for me. The experiences I couldn't fully explain, and then the lack of clarity, of even what was happening. Yeah. So finally receiving that diagnosis was some validation and allowed me to better support, what was happening, and then take an intentional path and become my own healer. I have found that looking to others as what I was programmed to do, for lack of better words. So I found that at that time in my mid 30s, figuring out what was actually going on was the most important piece for me.
So doing your own self-inquiry and doing
Yes.
your own research, exploring mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you received, so how old were you? So when did you start experiencing seizures and what did they think they were?
Yeah, good question. I was at birth, the cord was wrapped around my neck. So now that I have that information, the doctor was able to determine that that was the origin. That was never diagnosed. I was born blue. I did have a lot of childhood concerning things that were not taken into consideration or really looked at. I was fainting a lot, tired a lot, fatigued a lot. Um, Sensitive to light, which I still am. The glasses I wear today help me with any sort of strobing lights or things like that. That would affect me, large crowds, just things that looking back now, I can really pinpoint, especially the fainting. I've fainted, I'd say at least 20 times that I could recall as a child. And it was always just, just brushed away or, not really looked at as something that was concerning. So that's definitely been something now that I could look back on and see as something that, could have changed back then. But I know now that this experience has shaped me to know that we go through the things that we go through to be, to learn that lesson. And so for me, my lesson I know and my purpose is really to go within myself and trust myself. Because I was always, like I said, looking to the outside or looking to others, or even the medication piece of this. I was put on several different medications in my 30s, and now I am now medication free and just use excuse me, using holistic practices. But yes, that's definitely been a piece for me. And as you asked, as a kid, I definitely had the symptoms. It just wasn't approached.
You just
Yeah.
didn't know how to put all the different pieces together because
Yeah.
epilepsy, it isn't just only affects your brain, it affects all aspects of all five health domains: biological, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, all of it,
Yep. So
right?
true. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fascinating. So you've been seizure
Hmm.
free for several years, which is amazing. This
It
going to
is.
bring hope to so many other people that may
Yeah.
be struggling. So
Yeah.
what I would love for you to share is what lifestyle changes do you feel, you know, um, lifestyle, wellness, spiritual changes, did you believe play the biggest role in your healing journey?
Yeah, great. Yes, for sure. I would say the combination that comes to mind right away is managing my prioritizing sleep. Um, has been number one for me, making sure that I sleep and get that sleep every day. Managing my stress, which is sounds like you can't even do that, but I have found ways to do that, of just being able to regulate my own nervous system and finding grounding and peace, and then being mindful of what triggers me, being educated to know when I'm triggered, what that feels like in my body. I can now really feel it and be able to say, okay, I know this is some stress, let me manage this before it continues on. As well as just really being intentional with how I live my life and prioritizing myself. And that's the way I eat, that's the way I live, what I consume, my relationships and how I live them. So that's been definitely been the journey. In the last 5 years, I have been seizure free, and that has not been the case my whole life. I've had seizures my entire life until 5 years ago. So I don't even know how to put that into words, how different that is to be able to live the life that I live now, because I was not even present to live my life, I'd say, for a lot of those times. Yeah.
Fascinating. And for the viewers, I just want you to notice she just shared about lifestyle as medicine.
Yeah.
She is using lifestyle modalities as a medicine to regulate her central nervous system. We haven't even talked about cannabis or hemp products yet.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah, for sure. And that's a big point to make. And yeah, for me, cannabis is under that, but it is very important because it helps me on a day to day. But yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because before anything, that's the important piece is just listening to what's actually happening inside of my own body. Yep.
Yeah. And then, using cannabinoids,
Yep.
cannabis or hemp products as a tool in the toolbox to pair with the other health and wellness activities so you can have that systemic homeostasis that has allowed you to be seizure free.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah.
just for the viewers, what was that journey like? Because a lot of
Hmm.
people want to know, so some of the
Yeah.
new people that might be on the epilepsy journey that are discovering cannabinoids, what was it like to find your sweet spot? Because everyone's different
Yeah.
in how they use this plant, what works for them, what works for one person may not work for someone else, et cetera. So what was
Yeah.
that like discovering what worked for you?
Yeah, and a great point of just finding out what works takes some time. And for me, I have now figured out what works for me, and that came about from just really trying a lot of different products. I had the luxury of working in the cannabis industry, so that really was helpful for me. I was so passionate about it that I started working in the industry, and then I was able to then to see what different products are and how to use them. So for me, I find that what works best for me is more of consuming it and eating or having it inside of my body rather than smoking. I do use vape for immediate things, but I find that to control things or to keep me on a consistent, I need to be eating. So I find that even eating raw cannabis helps me better than some of the other things. But I prefer to use CBD on a daily. But to go back to your point of how that felt, it was just trying things and seeing how it went and then documenting it and talking to others was a really big piece for me. I did have a epilepsy support group that I was able to create while working in the industry, which was amazing. So I was able to for the first time talk to other people that were like me. I've never even had that before. So I just would say finding other people, talking about it, not being afraid, to do that. I was very nervous to talk about anything that was going on with me while it was happening. As you can imagine, it's very scary and just hard. So now that I am able to do that, my passion is to connect with other people who are going through these things because it is scary to navigate. So yeah, my biggest thing would say to find a community, to find your people, and to try things slowly.
Try things slowly. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And gosh, and we're hoping, with rescheduling on the
Yeah.
horizon, they've rescheduled medical cannabis. We're waiting to hear what they're going to be doing for adult use cannabis.
Yep.
Hopefully that more providers, more patients will have the education, the resources, and the access to these medicines. The therapeutic use of cannabis is the use of these products for medicinal, wellness, and healing purposes. It's personal and subjective to each consumer. Every single person is different, and what they need is different because their endocannabinoid systems are different, right? But objective criteria can be seen across the board on the five health domains. All you need to do is have improvement in one of the five health domains. So that's biological, mental, emotional, spiritual, or social without it negatively impacting any of the others. So it kind of really helps people to get a framework that if they're either using it therapeutically or they're not. And if they're not using it therapeutically, how we bring it all in is teaching them about lifestyle as medicine because you can regulate the endocannabinoid system and the endocannabinoid dome exactly with some of the modalities that you're working with to maintain lifestyle as medicine. So,
Yeah.
sleeping better, prioritizing sleep, prioritizing rest, managing the stress
Yeah.
response, eating well, controlling who's in your environment. So that's like
Yeah.
literally, and then medicating appropriately with products that can support those other wellness tools that they're actually doing.
Yeah. Wonderful point.
Yeah, really good. So basically, I love that this that when you literally, because everyone always thinks it's just about the cannabis, it's just about the products, it's just about
Right.
taking it, and it's not. It's how you use it to eat better, how you use it to relax better, how you use it to manage the stress response better, how you use it to connect with people better. So again, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So, you're passionate about epilepsy awareness and medical cannabis education. Why is it so important to you to speak so openly about these topics?
Yes, great question. I have found, and my time in the industry, cannabis industry, did help me to realize this, that we, as humans, have a hard time really talking about things that might be going on or what's, happening. So I find that I am now in this position to be able to do that. And by sharing what I've been through, can help others. And so I really want to just put the message out there that we're not alone. We are all connected. And through this experience, I have found that we do have this connection as humans. And so I find that that is why I'm so passionate about bringing this to light of just that we need more conversations on topics like this.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. So let's get into the creation of your amazing
Yeah.
businesses,
Oh
right? So
my gosh.
you found Divine Readings by Christine and also the podcast. So what inspired you to found Divine Readings by Christine? And can you tell us more about the business and the journey that led you to create it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a recent journey for me. It's come through the last 5 years where I have had an experience of learning about tarot. So that's been a big piece for me. I've had the calling to support others through this transformation through my own self-discovery and going through major personal and health challenges. So seeing how powerful it is when people are given space to reconnect with their inner wisdom has really inspired me. So the readings came first, and then the podcast just naturally grew from me just being really interested in the people that I was talking to and wanting to hear more from them. So
Cool.
yeah, it naturally grew from that intention, and that's only been for the last few months. It's a recent project for me. So I just started, I think, in February with the podcast. So
That's
it's been
awesome.
really, yeah, it's been amazing.
Congratulations. And I've been very
Yeah,
lucky to be on your podcast, and you've did a
yeah.
wonderful job. So it was
Thank you.
really
Oh my
fun.
gosh.
I enjoyed, sharing my story and et cetera. So yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
So we
well,
need
that means a
more
lot.
people more people like Christine to speak, to be open, to be authentic, to share their journey, right? There is something so powerful about storytelling, making it normal to be able to use plant medicines and to use alternative modalities for healing and wellness,
Yeah.
and it's not talked about enough. So really, wow, I'm blown away. I did not know that you were just new at podcasting.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you so
Great job.
much. That's wonderful to hear from you. I appreciate that.
Yes, it's awesome. God, that's awesome. So yeah, so you know, um, many people are curious about oracle readings, the tarot, but they may feel hesitant or have misconceptions. I've met quite a few people that have a lot of misconceptions. What
Yeah.
would you like to tell people to understand about the tarot, oracle readings, and how you use it in your practice?
Yeah, I love that question. Yes, I have also had some, people that have reservations, and I've had my own reservations before this part of my life has come into, to me. So I would say how I work with this energy is it is my higher self connecting to the client or person's higher self or guides, and that is done, through this process. And so with that, there is nothing that is evil or demonic that happens on my piece of this, but I am well aware that this world does have, negative and positive energy, and that's how we live. And so
Yep.
the balance of that is there, but my practice is connecting to intentionally my positive energy by calling it in and saying that when I do the readings, I'm calling in the best and highest good of energy with us today. And yes, and that's very important to do that and just to be educated on what it means when we're working with energy, because not everybody should just go in and start using tarot.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and just how before we even went live today,
Yeah.
Christine and I sat here and I did a proclamation, may the best version of ourselves come forth in this moment in time so we can reach the most people. These are affirmations, right? So, stating and making an intention. So intention setting is part of the process of
Yeah.
when you are having a reading with Oracle or the Tarot, correct?
For sure, definitely. Yeah, intention is very much a part of it for me, and just even saying things out loud and calling in, what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So that is part of it for
Yeah.
sure.
And I have had some people that have, been a little squeamish about energy healing, that they think that just like they think cannabis is the devil's lettuce, that they think
Yep,
these modalities,
that's so true. Yeah,
like literally are evil in nature, and they're not. It's spiritual. This
mhm.
is like we need to get the religion. It's not about religion. It's
No,
not about
no,
religious beliefs. It's about
no,
tapping into consciousness for
yep,
personal transformation and healing, and tapping into the unseen, which
yeah,
is, you know,
exactly. Yeah,
and energies that can be felt. I'm sure, energy healing modalities, there's Reiki, there's reconnective healing. They have these quantum devices, the Rife machine that exists
oh my
today, the
gosh.
Healy. Yeah, right. So
Yep,
energy, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It always is, was, and will be, and we transmute it into something beautiful. So for
yep,
people that may have misconceptions about the tarot, I want you to bring that into your heart and breathe through it and transmute it into the divine expression of creative love,
yeah,
because that's really what this is,
yeah.
right? Is you are tapping into something a little bit different. Um,
100%. Yeah,
yeah,
and tapping into your own intuition is the biggest piece for me, is we are all part of this. So whoever I'm reading for, you're in on this reading. It's you that's bringing this reading through, not me.
yeah, this is going to be really
Yep.
fun to do this
Yeah. Oh, I
together.
look forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so a couple more questions. So,
Mhm.
you
Of course.
offer the tarot readings, intuitive guidance, spiritual coaching. How do you help clients gain clarity and navigate life's challenges?
Yeah, I think that's just really bringing in the energy of, connecting to ourselves and finding what works for us individually and using our own intuition. So when I have a client, I'm asking them, to have an intention and what are we looking for with this reading. And so that clarity, I think, comes through the reading when we're able to connect and bring out the message that they already, most of the time, already know.
Yeah.
Right. It just kind of gives a confirmation. And so I know I don't need to prove myself or my abilities through this process because what I'm putting through is already what the client already knows, right? It's already, that information is in the quantum, it comes through and it's already there. So it doesn't need to be in person. It could be through any means. And so I always like to also pull cards before I even meet with somebody. Like, so today I did pull some cards just to kind of
Did.
see, yeah, to see the energy of like what it's going to be. And I find that that always brings the client some clarity. So I'll go through those before we do the reading too.
Oh, that'll be really, really fun. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's just amazing. I love it. Okay, now we're going to switch because I'm very
Okay.
excited to do the reading. Now I want
Yeah.
to switch a little bit and talk about your podcast too.
Okay.
So, you said you were new to this, and
Yeah.
I'm blown away because you have an exceptional podcast. You've done amazing work. I've enjoyed being on your show, very professional. What was the driving force behind launching Divine Podcasts? And basically, the other question is, what kinds of conversations are you hoping to spark with your guests that your viewers do?
Yeah. Yeah, so the conversations I'm hoping to spark are things that just bring us together to learn more about each other. And I have these panels that I'm starting, like you've been on, where we have groups, and I'm finding that the universe has put me into this position to be able to bring about these conversations organically, but at at a higher level. We're all meant to meet, and for me, it's a bigger purpose to help the world. So my purpose here is to do that. I didn't know that was my purpose. I am not an extroverted person. I'm an introverted person. So for me to do this type of role is surreal. And so it's fun, exciting, and I'm here for it. But it comes not from a natural state. It's more of just like curiosity has brought me here. So yeah, so I'm finding that the podcast came about as just a way to bring things together and to integrate like what I'm learning and to show it to others at the same time, which is vulnerable. And I didn't think I would be here, but yeah, it's
Yes,
fun.
very vulnerable. Because
Yeah.
you are putting yourself out there and you're opening
Yep.
yourself up to a lot of constructive criticisms. It may
Oh
not be
yeah.
constructive at times, but again,
Yep.
but it's interesting. So I want to just for our viewers, I've been
Yeah.
podcasting since 2018. I've slowed way down on the amount of podcasts that I'm producing because I'm being very intentional with what I want to put out there at this moment in time, right? It takes
Yep.
a lot of energy to produce, to create, to be the guest, the host, to market, and to be successful at this. So it's a lot of energy. So it's really important for me that the guests that I have on these days have something to say and that can bring people to new levels of awareness, again, for that hope, that inspiration for their growth and healing. So the
Yep.
reason why I started podcasting was because this is an interesting story. My mother blocked me on Facebook and wrote me out of her will
Oh my
because I
gosh.
was using cannabis as a medicine. Now,
Mm-mm.
Mom, I love you to death. I'm back in the will, and she's since come on my podcast. But it was to decrease stigma. So in 2000, when I
Yep.
started using cannabis as a medicine, I was plagued with stigma. My mother wanted nothing to do with me. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, what the heck? I found something that works for me and I'm using it appropriately, but she just didn't understand. And so
Yep.
when in 2018, when the National Council of State Boards of Nursing came out with a call to action that all nurses must have 6 essential areas of knowledge when it comes to cannabis as medicine, I decided that, okay, that's what I'm going to share. I'm going to share those 6 essential areas of knowledge. I'm going to interview nurses, interview patients, interview companies, interview practitioners and people that are doing the right things for the right reasons because I am plagued with stigma and I needed my mother to understand that it wasn't the devil's lettuce, that this is a tool that I've been using for health, wellness, healing, gotten off of my pharmaceuticals. Again, I can
Amazing.
identify with that. Getting off
Yep.
of all of my pharmaceuticals. I'm on one because I have to be on it because I need to keep my
Right.
blood thin, right? I'm
Yep.
an Eliquist.
You need that.
Yeah,
You can't do nothing about that. Yeah.
exactly. I
Yep.
got a blood clot a couple years
Yeah.
ago, and that, anyways, that's
Yep.
beside the point. So anyway, so really, really grateful that you have opened yourself up and been vulnerable to share your story, to share other stories, and to help people with healing. It's
Yeah.
just
Thank you
amazing.
as well. And thank you
Yeah.
for inspiring me. Definitely. I know that your story resonates for me. And yeah, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. So looking back on your journey, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned through adversity and how they've shaped who you are today?
Yeah. So I would say just knowing that surrendering to what is happening is the way. I've been doing that the past year actively, and I'm finding that things are just falling into place. And knowing that we are going to go through things and that there's a purpose. Finding my purpose has been the biggest piece of all of this. And going through that, knowing I have, a purpose in my day to day is really truly been what keeps me motivated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That's amazing. So looking ahead, what is your vision for Divine Readings by Christine and the impact you hope to leave on the world?
Yeah, I am hoping that everyone can tap into their own intuition and realize they are worthy of their dreams, and we all have worth. Self-worth has been a big piece for me, and just knowing that I'm helping others and making this connection and having it be at a larger platform. I'm also having more like in-person events and just more connections in that way to I also want to travel more and meet more people along the way. So yeah, Divine Readings is going to be around as well as my podcast. I love that I'm able to connect people through to both of those. I have a lot of the tarot readers come on. So I just hope to really continue to build a large community and to continue to teach others about intuition and trusting themselves.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Amazing.
Yep.
Congratulations for,
Thank
being
you.
seizure free, for creating Intuitive, the Tarot Guide, and Divine Podcasts. Yeah,
Yeah.
good work. So now we're going to get to something fun,
Okay.
everyone. We're
Cool.
going to get to this next segment of the podcast where we have Christine, who is going to actually guide us through a live divine reading demonstration. Drawing on her extensive experience, Christine will illustrate the profound role of integration work in the plant medicine journey, with a particular focus on me and my journey that I just had. So integration is a vital component of holistic wellness, serving as a foundation for lasting transformation and healing when working with plant medicines. So in other words, you can integrate it. You don't have to just do psychedelics. You can use cannabis as a spiritual tool as well. And you can have, and basically these readings can help give meaning and help provide guidance. So Divine Readings offers a unique evidence-informed approach to this process, providing individuals with meaningful framework to process their plant medicine experiences, continuing their journey towards personal growth and well-being. So for example, to provide a real-world example, I'm going to be the subject for today's demonstration. I'm going to be very, very vulnerable and open with you all. I recently sat with 5-MeO DMT on my 60th birthday on July 20th, and I'm currently in the process of integrating that experience. So again, I want you to join us as we walk through what a divine reading looks like in practice, shedding light on this powerful tool for holistic healing and growth. So Christine, right now, I'm going to let you take over and we'll do a brief demonstration with your cards. So I want you to introduce these cards that you created. And then we're going to close out the show with your offerings, which are also listed in the show notes. So
right.
I'm very excited for this part.
All right, love it. All right, ready. All right, Sherri. Well, thank you so much for letting me read for you. And I'll go ahead and start with just kind of showing the deck that I have here is the Oracle deck that I made. So you can make a deck right out of anything. These came through channeled messages with my higher self. I meditated, sat on it, and they came through. They happen to be similar to tarot because they have 78 cards just by chance. So they are numbered, and so the numbers do have significance as well as messages. So that is what these are. And then I also want to show my fairy tarot deck as well. It was gifted to me from my first reading I had when I was 40, which has started this entire process for me. To shout out to Kelly, who gave me a reading and said that these cards had to come home with me. She said they were talking and she heard it and they had to come. So the fairies have been with me. And so I love that. So these are the fairy tarot deck. So we'll also do a reading there. So, but I do want to just kind of start out with what I pulled for today. Since I did pull before you came on, I want to go ahead and just share what that is. And then we'll go to your current reading. All right, Sherri. So we have from the Oracle deck today, we pulled card 58, which is Live in Your Purpose, which is very significant. Yep, which is what we've talked about for today. And then card 47, which is Go Outside, Nature is Healing, Laughing Will Happen. So card 47 for that, and that's definitely fitting for our conversation. Nature is so important. And then we have card 56, which is Cry It Out. The only way out is through, which is that resonates a lot for me. Yeah, you got to go through it. You can't, avoid. You got to go through. All right. Wow. Yeah, love that. Very significant. And then we have for the fairy tarot, I did pull the 4 of Swords. And so this one it could show for the fairy tarot deck, it's a time of healing, time to take a reflection, and then you can be better equipped to move forward. So that kind of also, I'd say, fits into what we were talking about as well. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Very, very nice. So then we'll go ahead though and restart with a new shuffle. And then is there anything that you want to add for this poll or anything you want to kind of add for the ask? Not required. But if you have any,
I think my it's like, what is important for me to know? What messages are important for me to know as I continue this integration process, as I continue to walk my path. So again, not specific, but like the overall theme. of,
Okay.
what's important for me to know.
All right. Love that. That's a great question. So we'll open it up to, we'll start with, we're calling in the energy of the highest good. And we're going to connect here with Sherri and her higher self. And we're going to see what messages does the universe have for Sherri. Let's see. All right. So we'll shuffle and we'll see what comes up. All right. So I usually go with 3. It's a nice number. We'll see. Okay. So we have card 72. Take time out. Plan a trip. Love that. That's a great one. And then we have card 8. Wherever you go, there you are. So that's you, card 8. And then we have card 67. To release, hug a tree. So that's kind of fun. It says to get some release, hug a tree.
Hug a tree, grounding.
Yeah, very much. So yeah. So basically, get some grounding. Nature came up a few times for you. Planning a trip, take some time out for yourself, and then sitting with yourself and knowing who you are, and and that's part of all of our journeys, I'd say. So it looks like you're in a good place based on kind of what's coming through here, because it's planning the trip means you should probably stop working a little bit. You're working a little hard. What would you say?
I would say, but it's interesting because we are planning a vacation, for the fall. Elizabeth and myself and my 3 children, we're all going to go to Cabo. So we are planning a vacation with the family together. So that makes sense. And yes, I agree. Getting outside would be beneficial, but I'm in Palm Springs, and I'm not sure if you all know this, but the past few weeks, it's been 118 degrees.
Oh my gosh. Yikes. Yeah, no, you don't want to go out there. That's really ridiculous. Hot. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So, I do go outside when it's dark out, because when I do, and there's the cat. Look at the cat.
There she is. There's Tiffany.
She wants to be part of the show and part of the reading. I love it. Cats are very intuitive.
Anytime I'm on here doing tarot, she jumps in my lap. It's like she knows.
That's hilarious. So that's so great. Yeah.
Well,
so I can definitely relate with, planning a trip. It's something. And part of the interesting thing is I have not flown anywhere since I had my blood clot. So this will be the first time that I've gotten on an airplane, which will be this fall. And so I think a lot of my deep dive work has been around overcoming the fear of flying. Specifically, I've got a cane now. I'm not like, I'm still in the healing process, but I'm not so plagued with the blood clot and its effects anymore, but it still really, really affected my psyche and not a good.
That makes sense. I mean, for sure, I could see that. Yeah. That definitely makes sense.
So basically, how I'm interpreting this a little bit is to continue to do my meditations around traveling, and to really trust my body that it can handle it, and that I can do this, and that it's going to be worth it in the long run. That's what I'm hearing.
I hear that as well. Yeah,
that I should go on this trip. I should take this vacation. That this will be good for me and for my family.
Yes, I do see that as well. And we can also pull from the fairy tarot.
Okay.
And see what comes up here. And then I want to go back to the Oracle deck one more time and ask a clarifier. But let's see. We're going to do this shuffle. And we'll see. Okay. So we have 5 of Swords. So Swords is, let me pull up my fairy deck for you. So it's in the mental realm for sure, logic and communication. And then for the fairy deck, I like to read right from it because it gives a very particular interpretation. So my cat's not really helping for this part, but that's okay. We're going to make do. Okay. So for this one, this could be a time of a debate, perhaps even with another person or people or a situation or within yourself. An agreement must be reached. To reach an agreement, make sure you get both to express your reasons and make every attempt to listen carefully to each other. And Carefully examine all sides of the conflict within yourself. If neither of you are convinced of the other's point of view, work together to form a compromise. So basically just saying to get all points of view and work together. But, I kind of think that references your trip you're talking about a little bit too. Just kind of, deciding, if it's best for you or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. One of the things, we've been doing trips on the road as well. So, my whole thing is being in an airplane in a confined space, surrounded by a lot of people, and not being able to move.
Yeah. For sure. I'd have that same. Yeah, for me with the seizures, every time I've flown, I've had a seizure. So I have reservations about it. They're mild usually, but I still have them. So I haven't flown in years, but I do plan on flying again. And just trying to really manage things. But yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's see. We'll go back to the Oracle deck. I want to ask if there's anything that you need to know or something that you might need to know right now. Let's see what Sherri needs to know, if there's a further clarifying message. Okay. All right, and we have card 59. You chose this life and your parents, which is kind of a funny card. I just laugh because I deal with the past life things. And for me, that's what this is about is you knew who your parents were before you came here. You picked them. So that's what this card is saying. So I know that's kind of funny, when you say it out loud, but if you really, think into it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that we chose our parents. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So is this going into any more past life messages that might be coming?
So I'd say this comes up just when it's kind of just letting you know that there is past life connections. Card 59, you chose this life. So you have a mission, you have a purpose for this particular timeline. So I think this is just acknowledging you and that you're on it and that you're doing it. Yeah. And that your mom and your dad are who they are because you chose them. And we have these things that we go through to learn. And, it's nice that you could share your story and that she's now been on the podcast. I love that.
Yeah, well, I definitely did not do, I definitely chose the road less traveled, like for sure, right? In all aspects of how of all aspects of how I'm living my life, because I've, again, like you've said, have chosen to go inward and to cultivate from my inner knowing, right? That all the clairs. We've got the clairvoyance, where you can see, the clairaudience, where you can hear, the claircognizance is knowing, and the clairsentience is feeling. So really honoring those clairs in my life and cultivating a life that makes sense for me so I can live my best life. And again, demonstrate to others that they can do this as well too.
Yeah, I love that. And this last card came out to kind of clarify that for you. Card 29, you are protected. Fear is over. Live in the present. Yep.
And that's amazing because 2 + 9 is 11. And I see 11 as a doorway of opening into the unknown, of the possibilities of all that exists. So that's amazing. Right. Wow.
Yep. Love it. Yeah, I feel that. So great, powerful energy. I could feel the integration here. I could feel that you're moving through. It's a physical sensation for me. So I'm glad that I'm able to be here and work through this with you. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can feel. What's funny is how it comes through to me. My eyes start to tear.
Yeah, for me, it's like this lightness, like lifts. I can feel a sensation on my chest of like a lightning. Yeah. Amazing. Very cool.
This is amazing. Wow. This has been absolutely wonderful. You are doing amazing work. Divine Readings by Christine. If you check the show notes down below, I have her Instagram, her Facebook, her YouTube, her Linktree, and her Divine Readings by Christine website, all in the show notes for you all to explore the work that Christine Olson is doing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I look forward to it. Yeah, the best place is Instagram. I'm usually on there. My other links as well. I book private readings as well as coaching. And also I do free readings if you're looking to just kind of see what's going on. I do live readings. Just send me a message or check out my Instagram at Divine Readings by Christine.
Awesome. So any other words for our viewers before we close out the show today?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for listening, and reach out, please, if you feel called to listen to your own messages that come through, be open to them. And I look forward to hearing from you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much.
you, Sherri. Yeah.
Remember, everyone, truly what it's all about. It is all about living your best life and helping others do the same. Thanks for joining.
Yep. Thank you. Oh, so fun.
We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And you know, the more research I did, the more I discovered that cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses Group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.